I do agree that the city of Yonkers should not treat itself differently, and it was a self-imposed rule by not changing it back in the 70s when they could have. The city of Yonkers should have the right to determine its own fate. If the rest of the county were, if it was imposed on the rest of the county, the supermajority was required, and Yonkers was one of those cities, that would be one thing. But for Yonkers not to be able to determine its own fate, the rest of the county could, doesn't make any sense at all for the people who live here, and that's why I would support that too. I think that the city of Yonkers has got to be able to determine its fate and be able to make the decisions on the projects that affect us. And I don't think we should play by different rules than anybody else. I think we should all play by the same rules.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, to whom is it addressed?
Both candidates.
Pardon?
Both candidates.
Thank you.
I like to mix it up.
Sorry?
Like to mix it up.
Good.
My name is Liz Otero. I live right here on Second One South Chain. And this question is for both candidates. I'm sure that both of you are aware of the current situation of day laborers that seek work at the corner of Midland and Yonkers Avenues. You're also both aware of the $75,000 allocated through the Yonkers Community Development Block Grant to create a worker center for them. Unfortunately, this grant has been lying fallow for 2 years. What is your plan to push the worker center forward? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start this time with Mr. Abercrombie.
Yes, it's actually something I think we probably met at some of our town meetings about this very specific issue. It's a very tough issue, and it's tough because of the impact it has on neighborhoods. And I can tell you that we probably have, in all the calls and all the town hall meetings, and every place I've been, it's been split. And it really has been split severely. People do not want us to spend government money on people who are here illegally. Now, many of the day laborers are here illegally, some are not. Some are here legally and they're looking for work. And they are all looking for work. But the truth is, most of the people who come to us and say they don't want us to spend government money on people who are here illegally are very emotional about that, and I understand why. As far as the day laborers who line our streets waiting for work, they're not contributing, and I mean financially, they're not contributing to the same system that is educating their children and providing medical services. If we were going to do something with the day laborers, then we have had a very difficult time finding the right location for it. It has to be a location where they not only come, where the contractors would come, but they have to get into the tax-paying system. If they don't get into the tax-paying system, then they're not providing for those. Even if it's a small amount, they're not providing anything back into the system that is supporting them, and that's wrong. Everyone else has to do it, and everyone else, I think, would be more accepting of them if they were not in competition with people who are not who are paying their taxes, and therefore being able to undercut those contractors who've been in business for many years. If we can find the right site, and it's not easy, and provide the counseling and get them into the tax-paying system, that's the right place, and I would support them.
Thank you. Thank you for holding your applause until he was finished, because there's no way that we can take off time for our candidate for applause. Mr. Robertson?
I think your question was, there was money allocated for the day labor site, why is it built? If I was mayor, that site would have been built already. It's an issue of whether or not the mayor is on both sides of this issue. He wants to tell the day laborers and the community that represents them that he's in favor of the site. The city council did its job, he allocated the money for it. He didn't build the site. It tells you about a plan. What plan? The money's there, find the site, get it done. Not unlike the $2.8 million that we allocated for an animal shelter 4 years ago. We're still waiting. I was there, it could be done.
And we have the next question.
This is directed to both candidates. My name is Hillary Duncanson. I live at 100 Primrose Avenue. And I noticed on Channel 12 tonight that the racetrack slot machine operation is getting $40 million a month in revenue. And I was wondering, at any point in the future, could some of that return to Yonkers be used to ameliorate the high property taxes in the city?
Thank you. Good question. Mr. Robertson?
There was absolutely no question that it could. The racetrack, which is doing well, we get $20 million, we get impact fees, we get more money, $20 million each year in our budget, and we need to work with our state legislature in order to increase the percentage of revenue that comes into the city of Yonkers. That's something as mayor I will be working with all of our state delegation, as well as the governor, the home city this case Yonkers, and there's 7 others throughout the state of New York, clearly should benefit more than the rest of the state. But it's something that, I know there's bills up and over, I know Mike Spam has a bill, and I would support that, and we would get more. So it's really a question of going to Albany and fighting for the people, not for the developers. Thank you.
Mr. Amiconi?
Yes, actually, the money we get from the racetrack does in fact help us keep our taxes down, but we can certainly use and should get more. The state takes a significant amount of that money. They get 80% of the money that comes out of that track. And I think that the city should share it, especially the city that's the host city for that casino and racetrack. So yes, we should and we can get more. Assemblyman Spano has in fact proposed to give us more money. One of the things we should do is eliminate that cap. And frankly, the $20 million, which right now is a maximum, should be a minimum. Because of the amount of money that, and services, although we are getting additional money for services, that track is in the city of Yonkers, and it just stated today that the money that comes off that track for the education system, because that's where the money has to go, it's a lottery system. The money that comes off that track is in excess of every one of the other casinos. There are 6 or 7 of them. Every one of the other ones combined. So yes, the city of Yonkers should get money, and that's exactly what we've been talking about all along, about the city of Yonkers getting its fair share. We don't get enough from New York State. It doesn't have to just come out of the operating budget. It can certainly come out of there. As far as the one quick one on the day labor side, any council member, including my opponent, could have given us a site if we thought that was the right site. All you had to do was name it. We would have built it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, I've lost track of the time since we started a little bit late. How much more time do we have for audience participation? Another 5 minutes? Good, okay, fine. Should be able to do 2 questions then. Yes, please, sir.
My name is Fred Fielder. I live on 95 Landscape Avenue, and my question is to Mr. Robinson. The question is, how can you say that we receive from Albany a fair amount of money for our schools when we're getting about $1 for each dollar we spend? Syracuse gets $2, Buffalo gets $3.
Thank you. Mr. Robertson?
Well, I think the question was, we got land from Albany, $70 million in recurring revenue. We got an additional many millions of dollars last year. We spent $457 million, more than half of our budget on the Board of Education. It's a question of accountability now. It's a question of how do we spend that money. That's all Albany wants us to do, is to spend it properly. The mayor said there's no fat. I disagree. I think there's a tremendous amount of fat in our Board of Education. There's probably a tremendous amount of fat in our city side of the budget. It requires a strong leader to do the things that, quite frankly, the mayor talked about 4 years ago. Consolidation of services, duplication of services need to be eliminated in the city of Yonkers. But that requires taking a tough position, having the courage, and just making it happen. A good chief executive can do that. And we can always get more money from Albany. We got to fight for more money from Albany. We talked about the formula. The reason that all those other 3 cities, and I don't disagree with you, get more money is the formula. So we need to change the formula. We can do that. We can do that through our delegation with the governor.